I
Does
assume
that
this works.
mean it goes locally by default?
I hope so, because we know
Glad
record
that
to
was on the
cloud.
recording, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, hello, everybody. Thanks for coming. Welcome to Kubernetes Cluster API Azure, our weekly meeting. Um, as I'm sure you know, CapZ is a subproject of SIG Cluster Lifecycle, and therefore we abide by the Kubernetes community rules of conduct, which more or less boil down to let's all be nice to each other, try not to talk over each other, use the raise hand feature in Zoom, and generally let's make this a fun time for everybody. If you would like to add your name here to the attendees list, please feel free to do so. Um, Also, at the beginning of the meeting, if someone's here for the first time or hasn't been here a long time and just wants to identify themselves and say hello, I will be quiet for a minute, and please go ahead and do that. Seems like we're all familiar faces, so let's move on. Um, we do not have anything listed on the open discussion topics. If you have something, go ahead and put it in at the last minute here. That doesn't necessarily mean we don't have much to talk about, uh, but it might. If we don't have any actual agenda topics, then we would move on to triage or milestone review if we want to do that. What is the sentiment? Do people want to go through bug triage or do we want to call this a short meeting? It's a tough choice.
Why don't I'll propose we check out page one of the PRQ
Okay.
and maybe allow any of the attendees here to raise hands and comment. Otherwise, give everyone our time back. Sounds great.
Good to me. Brian Cox is behind this one. Do you have anything you want to say about this, Brian? It seems pretty straightforward, and we just haven't gotten to look at it yet, I think.
Yeah, I think John commented,
Okay,
um, and I literally just followed up right before this meeting on his comment.
awesome.
Uh, Basically, the machines can join, but the CapZ pod constantly restarts.
Hmm. That seems like a problem. Well, I guess we shouldn't drill into it here because I don't have any context, but seems like John is on it. Do we want to add this to a milestone or just see? I guess we don't usually do that with PRs like this. So hopefully get some feedback. If you don't, obviously ping us in Slack, but I think John will probably help.
Sure thing.
Yeah. Um, I have not looked at most of these. Do not return availability set if failure domain is set in machine. Anybody looked at this yet? Jack has, and John
Yeah,
has.
I've reviewed this. I think this is good to go with some additional unit test cases to cover the new conditions that were introduced. So I see a thumbs up there.
Awesome.
So I think this one will be fine. I wanted to comment on the fourth or fifth one there in the list
Okay.
that David Tessar submitted to update the roadmap.
Yep.
So this includes what I'm especially um, interested in is the language there towards the bottom, which outlines some ETA dates for deprecation of the current Azure managed uh, cluster and Azure managed control plane APIs. So uh, I think this seems reasonable given the the test signal we've seen over the summer since we introduced the ASO managed API. I think that's fairly comprehensively documented why that's beneficial to users despite the API breakage. And we have lots of time to work on various migration assistance foo to help existing users get onto the new API. So I just wanted to advocate for lazy consensus on this language, maybe end of next week.
Sounds good to me. I actually reviewed this morning and I'm LGTM. I think this is a good plan. But yeah, we don't have to rush. So especially anyone who's here or is watching this recording as a user, the net effect is we're saying that existing managed clusters, if you're not already using ASO managed clusters, then what you're doing will break a year from now, although this is a pretty deliberate migration path. So if that's a problem, please weigh in on the PR. Otherwise, it sounds like we'll probably merge this in a week.
Great.
All right. This is yours as well, Brian. And hey, looks like it needs some extra reviews. So let's.
Yeah, I think I was just gonna give it an LGTM. It sounds like it's a pretty small PR, so um yeah, I guess someone else can take a look as well for the approval.
I'll look at it too. Sounds good. All right. And then we have some work in progress. I bumped finally we might merge this. I think this is going to pass now, but we'll find out in a little bit. The CAPI 181. Managed VNet. I know this is waiting for another review, but I think otherwise it's ready to go, right? Willie, I think you looked at this.
I think I did. Yeah, I did.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
it just
assigned to
needs
me. All right, well, I should get on. Oh, and then I didn't get to it, so you gave it to John. That's totally fair, but I'll try to
no
take a
worries.
look.
I was just because it has like it's just been sitting for a bit. Just needs someone else to approve it.
Cool. I will take a look too. And then we have a work in progress. This thing, I don't know what's up with this that Jeremy contributed. Still failing tests. Oh, so I guess this is waiting on Jeremy to make some changes, and it is marked wait on author. Forget where this was at. Some reviews. Waz was on this, and he is out right now. John also looked at it. Okay, so we need to ping Jonathan to finish off. I can do that. This one needs rebase. This, I think I figured out the stupid thing I was doing, so this might pass this morning if people want to take a look at it. The up bumping cap H is pretty trivial. Actually, I'll bug Jonathan because he should be the one to review that. And then I think we're getting back into relatively ancient history here. This might just age out, I think, is where we were. So I don't know if any of the rest of these need to be visited. Does anyone have anything in particular? All right. That's it for PR review. Do we want to go into the milestones or want to call it good for today? I'm going to default to the latter unless someone speaks up. All right. Let's call it a quick meeting, and hopefully we'll see everybody here next week.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks so much, Matt.
You betcha.